One of the nicest aspects of having a channel is the correspondence I receive. So many people write me and tell me about shotguns that sometimes I've heard of them, sometimes I haven't. I thought what I should do is get a hold of these guns because more and more of them are coming out of closets and collections and estates, and the people look them up, but there isn't necessarily that much information available. So we'll be looking at pump action shotguns today. I'm starting with a Remington Model 10. You can see that it's a bottom feed and a bottom eject. So it's quite a bit like the Remington 37. And I believe this is a Pedersen design. You could look that up. John Pedersen designed all kinds of great firearms. I test fired these before we started filming. By the way, you may hear the wind. It's howling up here, and sometimes that gets in the mic. I don't know exactly how that all works. It's also very cold, but anyway, maybe we'll see some snow. To release the action, you push this button here, and you can see the cool flap. That's the neatest thing about the Model 10, is that, well, there are a lot of neat things about the Model 10, but that flap is particularly interesting. As you'd expect, you can see it's not a brand new shotgun. It's a classic, so I'll flip it around this way. But as is usually the case, operation is perfect. It's just the cosmetics aren't the greatest. There's some rust speckling. I got this from my friend Sean. I think he knew I wanted to do a video on these vintage shotguns. And it's not that easy to get a Model 10. Anyway, then Remington decided to change the whole story, and they came up with the 870, which of course I think is the most popular and numerous pump action shotgun in history. Anyhow, we'll just take a couple of shots so you see how it works. So I load it simply, and you just drop the shells on the loading platform, push them in. It's one of the slickest mechanisms. We've got about 20 pump action shotguns on the ground over there, and there's a Marlin that's also slick. But this number 10, and you'll see now how it works. So we're good to go, and the safety is in the front of the trigger guard. But if you buy one of these, there'd be absolutely no reason not to take it hunting. It's a full choke. I fired steel shells. I don't see any damage. But I actually have never seen. Maybe there is to some choke, some people tell me. Anyway, we don't have clay pigeons because it complicates filming, and we didn't even know whether we'd get away with this, and we may not get away with this, but we'll take a couple of shots. Hopefully it'll be smooth. So, I mean, that could just as well be an 870 or any other pump action. I like the bottom eject, very slick operation, very easy to clean and very easy to take down. Anyway, that's the first one, Remington Model 10, and people were asking me to grade the smoothness of pump action shotguns. I would give this probably an 8, which is pretty high. We'll move on to the next shotgun. And I just wanted to mention that it's a privilege to make these videos for you. I hope you can support the channel. It may seem like cost-free or effortless because I love making them. But if you can support us, that'd be much appreciated. And maybe join us on Patreon. There are quite a few interesting videos there. That'd be helpful. But I have to tell you that this pump action Marlin, and it's just marked special smokeless steel. I think I showed it to you before, but it could have been on Patreon. I don't know what grade this is, but have a look at the engraving on the receiver. Some people wrote me, and they know the grades, and they also know the models. I'm not so confident that I know exactly whether this is a Marlin Model 17 or a Model 20. Might not be a bad idea to somehow mark it at the factory back then, but they didn't. Anyway, I hope you caught a glimpse of that side, and then here's the other side. And there's something about a hammer pump action shotgun. They're not that common, and I just I just fired a shot a few minutes ago. What an elegant mechanism! Works perfectly. Somebody was writing me about this shotgun, and I'm not sure what they were trying to say about the mechanism, but I've owned this one and others for years, and I've never had a problem with this shotgun or any of them. Um, well, I I preloaded it. Very simple loading from the bottom. We're still in the same condition, so we don't know how much time we have, but we'll fire a couple of shots. So I'm ready to go. I could have been standing in a duck blind or wherever. You just pull the hammer back and we'll fire a couple of shots. What happened there was, I guess, a light primer strike. I would have to examine the shell. But anyway, or maybe I didn't have the action locked. That's another possibility. But once she went, it was very easy, very rapid operation of the mechanism, and no glitches. We'll do more shooting hopefully with time. These tend to be very inexpensive. Same story as the most of the other pumps I'll show you. I don't know how old this is. This obviously is not as old as the Marlin or the Remington Model 10. All it says on this shotgun, and I've owned more than one, is made in France. France makes some excellent shotguns, and in case you didn't know, some of the highest numbers of people per thousand or 100,000 are hunters. France is full of firearms enthusiasts, and that's reflected on my channel. Anyhow, the ManU France is very simple. Somebody told me it's kind of an 870 copy. I don't know, maybe all shotguns or pump shotguns have some similarities with the 870. The unique thing here is the action release, which is on the bottom of the action. It's a push button. I would say it's quite convenient. And the action itself is anodized aluminum, so you get the typical aluminum wear, which is one of the reasons I'm never that keen on aluminum, but it does make the shotgun very light. Loading and unloading is straightforward, 870, very simple. It's a very smooth action. If you buy one of these, you'll notice your reload time. You can almost shoot as quick as you can with a semi-automatic. So we push this button, you'll see the action throw around into the feed ramp, and now I chambered it, so I should probably shoot it. We'll see how quick it is. Yeah, I would say that's pretty quick. Anyway, ManU France, and they're not too uncommon. Definitely worth buying. And if you get them, they look like this, so you don't have to, most of the time, you don't have to worry about them in the duck blind. They're worn in already. This is one of my favorites, made in Italy. Again, not too uncommon, but you don't see them on the rack every day in the used section. Frankie or Frenchy. If I say Frenchy, everybody says say Frankie, and the other way around. So whichever you prefer. And what a great shotgun. Again, it has aluminum receiver like the ManU France we just tested. This one has ventilated rib, which is always nice. Operation of the action is typical 870. This one also has the twin action sidebars. I should have mentioned that the ManU France, I think, has just one, but I'll check on that. And the Remington 10 and the Marlin were single action bars. That's just the bar here that operates the mechanism. So what more can I say? It's 2 3/4 and 3-inch, flawless operation. This one is actually in pretty good shape and very fast shooting. The action release is down here. and a crossbolt safety, and I guess this trigger is either chrome plated or stainless steel. But this is a perfectly fine rig, and again, they're just grossly underpriced. All of these pumps I'm showing you, except maybe that old Marlin, they're probably the best buys, especially given what they can do, because they're truly not inferior to really anything modern. Anyway, we'll fire a couple of shots, so we just feed the round in and we'll see what she does. Yeah, I mean, again, very quick shooting, no complaints, no bobbles. I think you could do this all day long. Frankie Frenchy doesn't have a model number that I can see, but that's their pump action. I think Beretta had a pump action for a few years as well. I'll try to get a hold of one of those. Anyway, we'll be on to the next one. Most people think Smith & Wesson means handguns, especially revolvers. Of course, they make so many semi-autos. Actually, my favorite 22 target pistol was a Model 41 Smith & Wesson. Anyway, that's a footnote. They did make an excellent pump-action shotgun with a steel receiver, just the way I like them. Single-action slide bar, unlike the others that some of the others that we just showed you. Operation, I repeat myself, typical 870. The slide release is here at the back. The trigger seems to be, it actually looks like chrome plated. There's some chrome wearing away. These are superfluous things. The shotgun works perfectly. It has a tang safety. That works perfectly. The stock is some kind of walnut. I haven't taken this one apart, but I've shot this exact one many times. There's never a problem. And I think they're like, I don't know, I was going to say $200, but every time I say that, somebody says they're more. Maybe they're more, but very inexpensive. They don't look like much on a rack. This one's actually marked Eastfield, model 916, but it's the same as the Smith & Wesson. And I guess they rebranded them, offered them under different names. Anyway, we'll fire a couple of shots and you can see it in action. I mean, the bolt it had some rust. It's seen better days, but it'll still go for another 100 years probably. Yeah, something about that action. Anyway, get one and you'll see what I mean. It's a fast action. Quite a few people ask me, what is the slickest operating 12 gauge pump? Now, we haven't made a video about the, Benelli or some of the more modern ones, but I'm pretty sure after all this shooting that the Winchester with the rotating bolt head, I don't know how you'd get a slicker pump action shotgun. There's no real scientific way to evaluate a shotgun mechanism and how it feels to an individual, but I did go through my pump actions with several collectors and friends, and that Frankie I showed you, the Frenchy, depending on how you want to pronounce it, that's very, very slick, noticeably smooth. And sometimes that's just the configuration of one or two parts in the mechanism. But in the end, everybody agreed that the Winchester is the smoothest, and this shotgun's been around in different configurations for a long time. And I think Winchester knew they had to follow up the Model 12 with something that was easier to make. It has an aluminum receiver. This one's scratched up. This is the Upland model. And what I did with it is, I like the way the straight grip feels. It's just a very comfortable grip for me. And I had a chance to get a shotgun barrel for it, like a deer barrel for it, slug barrel, with some decent sights. So I put that on, and maybe I'll take this instead of the 37 this year. I don't know, but it's fun to shoot it. I put a couple of slugs in here for today. I probably don't need to talk about operation. It has dual action slide bars, crossbolt safety in the front, and action release in the back. Um, Very simple operation. And you know, the best thing you can do is just head to the gun store and try them, and you'll see what I mean. The Winchester, they give it a different name now, Shadow or something like that. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. They're all the same, and they are lightning fast. We'll fire a couple of rounds, and these are slugs, so you'll probably see some recoil. Yeah, see, it's this. This is the magic right here. This is the this is the rotating bolt head. So unlike the other pump actions, most of them lock by tipping the bolt by means of a carrier. There's no need to get into all that, but this really locks like a bolt action rifle with a rotating bolt head, and instead of working a bolt handle, you're working the pump. Somehow they engineered it so it's just so incredibly slick. Effortless gun. I wish they made this model again, or maybe they do. But I always found this to be the handiest, especially with steel shot. Anyway, that's the winner, according to me, for slickness in a pump action shotgun. Just a pleasure to own and use. Anyhow, thank you very much for watching. Please help the channel when you can. I think we have a good thing going. Keep writing and sending suggestions and telling me about guns that even I haven't heard of. All right, in the meantime, wherever you are, take care. Good shooting and good hunting.